Hyper-realistic AI influencers, automated news generators, and conversational chatbots have reached a level of sophistication where they dissolve into our digital ecosystem. Until now, the boundary between what is human and what is artificial has been practically invisible. If you wanted to disclose that your content was generated by a machine, that was left entirely to your discretion. The European Union's AI Act ends that ambiguity. It establishes a strict set of rules for marketers, journalists, and creators across the globe. This legislation forces the future of artificial intelligence into two distinct legal categories. At the very top, certain practices are completely banned. Everything else falls into a broad tier that requires total transparency. Before we examine the specifics, please note, this video provides general legal information, not legal advice. For the modern content creator, relying on stealth AI is no longer a clever marketing tactic. It is a massive legal liability. Let's look at the top of that pyramid. Article 5 outlines the red lines of the EU AI Act. In this category, the law moves past standard documentation into an outright prohibition. This includes an absolute ban on using artificial intelligence for subliminal manipulation. You cannot use AI to exploit the vulnerabilities of specific demographic groups to distort their behavior and cause harm. For marketers, a crucial legal nuance: intent does not matter. If a campaign's effect manipulates an audience or exploits a vulnerability, it violates the law. These prohibitions are not a future threat. They have been strictly enforced since February 2, 2025. This prohibited tier also includes strict bans on using emotion recognition systems in the workplace, as well as untargeted scraping of facial images from the internet. These red lines establish a new baseline in commercial law. Human cognitive liberty is now actively protected against corporate AI manipulation. Moving down the pyramid, we reach Article 50. This section governs the everyday transparency rules for deployers, the marketers, journalists, and creators who are actually publishing the content. If your audience is interacting directly with an AI, like a customer service chatbot or a digital avatar, you must explicitly disclose its artificial nature at the very first point of contact. You cannot bury this warning in a terms of service link. The Act also introduces an incredibly broad standard for deepfakes. This goes far beyond malicious political impersonations, extending directly into everyday marketing. If you generate a realistic human who does not actually exist to star in an advertisement, that is legally classified as a deepfake. It requires a visible label regardless of whether you intended to deceive your audience. There is a distinct rule for media publishers. If you publish AI-produced text to inform the public on matters of public interest, you must explicitly state that the text was generated by a machine. There is a narrow editorial exception to this media rule. The label is only waived if there is genuine, substantive human editorial control over the article. Casually clicking Approve on an AI draft is completely insufficient. The underlying principle is simple. Whenever you use AI to simulate a human interaction, a real-world event, or journalistic truth, the audience is legally entitled to know they are looking at synthetic media. While deployers handle the public-facing labels, the back-end providers, the companies actually building the generative AI models, have their own set of rules. Under Article 50, Paragraph 2, providers must ensure that all generated outputs are marked in a machine-readable format. This means the artificial origin is permanently baked into the digital architecture of the file, making it detectable to social platforms and verification tools. This invisible infrastructure creates a permanent, auditable trail of synthetic media at a structural scale. While the manipulation bans are active today, the massive transparency shift is rapidly approaching. For the public transparency obligations under Article 50, there is a hard, unmovable deadline, August 2, 2026. There are industry rumors circulating about a digital omnibus delay pushing back compliance. That delay does not apply to these public disclosures. The omnibus offers a highly specific 4-month grace period, ending December 2, 2026, exclusively for the machine-readable marking of legacy systems already on the market. Everything else is locked for August. Creative professionals and marketers need to audit their production pipelines immediately to prepare for these mandatory disclosures. In the new European regulatory landscape, transparency is the mandatory legal standard for authenticating future content.